Toast time.
I'd like to make a toast, everybody. This is a dream come true. I love you guys with all my heart, and I just hope we just keep doing this until we're fucking 155 years old. Cheers. Sing us a song, Vincey. Sing us a song.
Well, you can drink beer on a Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. I think that would be nice. Well, you can drink beer on a Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday. And please take my advice. But never, never on a Sunday, a Sunday, a Sunday. Oh no, that will not do. Cause if you drink beer on a Sunday, a Sunday, a Sunday, I'll fall in love with you. Everybody. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Well, you can drink a Averna, a Verna, a Mando, Sicilian winner too. You can drink and go a burn one on the sidewalk. Out, I will go with you. But never, never on a Sunday, a Sunday, a Sunday, never would be right. Here comes a bag of Adidas, Adidas, Adidas. He's walking in tonight. Yeah. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ricky Solo. La 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 la. Cha cha cha.
And we're live. Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast. I'm Andy Frasco, live abroad, laying in a bed on my way back to America finally. 16 days on the road. It's been a long one. We'll talk about it next week when I got Nick with me, but I'm here with Chad Cocuzza. We went on a trip together. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, lads.
Of course, Chad is the guy that every time we're in a different country, he speaks that language. Ernie Chang does that too. He says every time we're like, he gets like Mexican food from like, he goes, cilantro? That's what you were doing. You were doing the Ernie Chang, dude. You're like, I'll have some bangers and mash, please.
Yeah, I don't order the fish and chips. I order the fucking fish and fucking chips.
What a vacation we've been on, huh, buddy?
Bro, it's been like a trip of a lifetime for me, man. It's been a long time coming for me to go to the motherland being all Italian and shit, dude, you know?
I know, we went to, I'll tell you all about it next week when I'm with Nick, if he asks about it, but holy shit. First, we started in London. We had a night in London, and we hung out with my boy Dougie Lamona from fucking elementary school, and he took us out. We fucking raged dick till about 6 a.m. And then we went straight to a flight to Florence and stayed there for 5 days. What was Florence like for you?
Florence. I was washing my feet. They drove me there. It was very nice. Nah, man, that is a little pocket, just a little gem of just some of the most golden people you'll ever meet, and these little restaurants you just walk into, and the vino, and everything is super authentic there, man. You should just fall in love with it the first second you're there.
I couldn't believe we found party favors as well.
Well, Andy, I think you found the party favors.
We found this dude. His name was Asiando, my homegirl from last trip, Emily, who accident waiting to happen, came to see us and she hooked us up. We were partying a little bit. But the Florence part of the trip was like, we were just like drinking and partying, right? It kind of mellowed out as we got into Rome, right?
Yeah, we get to Rome and everything gets real because you realize that's like where everything came from. You know?
I know, we're Italian, dude. Yeah. That's like it's the salt of the earth right there.
Yeah, you ain't going to find no Walmarts over there in Rome, Jerry.
You ain't going to find no Walmarts in Rome, Jerry. That was so amazing seeing the Coliseum in the fucking St. Petersburg. I mean, I'm Jewish, and I thought shit was fire.
Yeah, you walk into this, these buildings that are built, 3,000 years ago, and then just the craftsmanship and just the heart and soul you could tell that they put into this thing really just floored me,
Same, dude. I couldn't believe it. And then we only spent 2 days there. I wish we did, because we kind of did we had a nice hotel. We went into a sauna. We got a fucking steam room.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like other times on this podcast that I've been a little bit about, you got to dip your balls in the fountain of youth, bud.
We sure did. And then we went to my favorite part of the trip, Santorini. It was like no partying. We rented these 4x4s. We had this place on top of the mountain. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, literally this time of year, you go there and you pretty much feel like you have the whole place to yourself, and there's no traffic. I mean,
there was like no one there.
You just roam around and do whatever you want. I mean, every dirt road. I mean, we covered every square inch of that island, and I'm very happy with that.
Oh my God, it was like a little cold, but we were also on ATVs. It was like, but I thought that was the perfect way to travel through that city. We were had our own vehicles. We were roaming around. We were drinking wine on top of cliffs, and that was my favorite part of the trip because, it wasn't as much partying. We're going to bed at 8 p.m. We're just kind of winding down the trip. And I was thinking everyone needs to do something like this. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but everyone needs a little time for themselves. Right? And This is why we do this every year, right?
Yeah, we always do a lot of traveling, and, it's a lot of hustle and bustle, but this was truly the first time in years that I really felt like I could just reset my brain and, reset my presence in a way that, I can carry that on to bring back with me and utilize it as a tool to move forward,
I agree, man. I feel completely recharged. This is the first time on a vacation. Normally on vacations, we're just partying balls, Chad. We always do that. This trip was a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we always pull the partying balls out of each other. But this time, this is it's like, dude, we're actually getting a little bit older, and you don't have to go party balls to really reel some stuff in and just really feel your environment.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the most important thing. We're all getting older, and that's sometimes what we need in things weren't what they used to be back then, and that's fine. It doesn't always have to be fucking raging, fucking all gas, no brakes, no pun intended. But yeah, you just gotta fucking vibe it out and find out what you need in a recharge and do it. We're not, like I said, we're not telling you to go fucking quit your job and fucking move to France, but find something that'll help you actually recharge, and actually disconnect and actually get you ready to keep doing life, because that's the gift, right? Trying to do life as much as you can.
100%. You got to get out there and just, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't think you can actually pull stuff off like this, but if you really put your mind to it, you get all the resources you need to really go do what you want to do.
Yeah. And I know that's a short, abridged version of this trip, but this has been one of the best trips. I think this is the best one we've gone on so far.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been on some crazy trips, but this has really meant something to us.
I know, and I'm just proud to do it with my bros. Hope I wasn't too annoying. Was I annoying this trip?
Nah, man, you good?
I was doing a little bit too much cocaine in the beginning when we had our other partner in crime in the building.
What's wild is dude, I kind of proud to say that I was in bed for those nights.
You actually was. You were. I was. I don't know how John does it. John will stay up to 6 a.m. fucking just and he does all his best work at late at night. It's unbelievable. John Shields was on our trip. We were having fun. We all needed this. We've been working our ass off all fucking year. I mean, we've done 200 plus shows this year, and it's just been a grind. And I knew I was just kind of just getting beat up, and my body was kind of just not there. Or not my body. My body was not there, but my brain wasn't there. And that was my first time my brain wasn't there. My body's normally never there, but
I know. So what is it? It's not even 8 o'clock. We're in London. We're in bed. There's a bar downstairs that's open. We could be down there getting
Should we put on our pants and go have one more cocktail?
Who are we kidding? Let's go.
Let's go. I'm in. All right, guys. We got Mark from Midland on the show. Let's have one before. I mean, it's the last part of our trip. Let's just have one. We're in our pajamas right now.
Yeah. Let's get Maddie up.
Let's get Maddie up. Let's go down there, have 2 shots of Jameson, and come back up here.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Enjoy Midland. Mark is this is one of my favorite. This is definitely probably one of my favorite interviews of the year. Mark's such a great guy. I mean, first time getting to know him, and he's a Colorado native, or not native, but he lives in Boulder now, which is fucking awesome. I'm gonna start hanging out with this dude. This guy is just class, and his band's huge. One of the biggest country bands out there. It was really a pleasure to get to know him, and he was all going through the same thing I was going through, is being burnt out and trying to take a vacation when you're depleted. And I hope you find solace on that vacation, brother. And you're going to love this interview. But okay, guys, enjoy it. And next week, I'm with Nick to talk about this whole vacation. It's going to be crazy. I'll go deep down in the cheese whiz. But one last thing. What have anything to tell the people about taking a hiatus and doing your thing?
Yeah, like I said, man, some of these things feel like they're so out of reach to do, but it's really not. Use your resources, use your people, use your community. Get out there, and you got to go see the world before it's too late.
I agree. All right, buddy. I love you, and enjoy Mark from Midland, and have a great week, guys. Go kill it out there. Hey, guys. I totally spaced out and forgot to talk about our sponsors during my little opening segment. Volume.com. If you want to watch any live stream, they have great live streams on there. Or if you want to stockpile watch our podcast. You want to go on a binge, maybe a Sunday binge, go listen to all the podcasts for this season, head to volume.com. And if you're a creator, head to volume.com/creator and get yourself on volume.com. Guys,
you can make money on there, by the way.
You can make money.
They got those, I can't remember what the money, there's like a thing on there, it's called, and you can tip people.
It's kind of like Twitch.
It's like everything. TikTok has
make
that.
the money.
Get your money.
It's good to have your content not just on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. It's good to have all your content and on all these platforms. Like, it just fucking helps. There's fan bases for every platform. You might as well grow your fan base. So head to volume.com.
And they don't make you pay to be on it, like Twitter.
Yeah, they ain't doing that hoe shit.
I mean, that hasn't happened yet, but that's funny. Paying just to read other people's shit? No.
Yeah, no, silly.
I'm not paying to listen to Matt Walsh.
Wow, we have a real man on the fucking show today.
Hell yeah,
Mark,
dude.
how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, dude. Look at these antlers above me. Let's get that in the frame. Fuck yeah.
You wouldn't think that you're actually in San Francisco.
I know. I could have swore you were in
You guys
Amarillo,
should
Texas.
Check this place out.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
So it's this old inn, and I'm just sitting out here, and then we're basically at the Muir Beach. So the beach is just like a 3-minute walk from here.
Whoa. You want a
Pretty
little
cool.
You want a little vacation?
I'm on a mini vacation. My wife has an office in San Francisco.
Oh.
So I've been gone for 3.5 months straight. I've barely seen my kids. So
Oh my God.
I figured we'd all just fly to San Francisco together. We rented an Airbnb in Mill Valley.
Oh,
Yeah.
The super cool old mid-century house that's up in the Muir Woods. And it's amazing. This place is built out of stone with these gigantic windows overlooking the redwood trees. And we're just out here kind of exploring San Francisco.
That's cool.
I might have to move here for my wife's work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, how hard
We'll
is
see.
it to
Car's
make
gonna
your
get
wife
broken into.
happy when you're on the road 3.5 months a year?
Hence why I'm doing this interview.
She's like, can you go do an interview?
Like, go, get out of here. Get out of here.
I needed to add another trip to my schedule, like I needed another asshole, but here I am. But it is really beautiful, and I don't really know this part. I used to live in Southern California for a long time, and I've traveled around California quite extensively, both touring and before that. But I don't really know the San Francisco coast very well, and it is gorgeous. Once you're out of the city, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, man. I grew up in Los Angeles, the Calabasas area. I went to college in SF State. And Yeah, I've left like when I was 19.
Okay.
So when I came back, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot how pretty California is.
Sort of the most beautiful place in the country.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm from northern Indiana.
I mean, the California,
Not quite the same.
Indiana's cool too. You know,
Yeah.
I would say one of the surprises of my summer was how much I enjoyed going to Iowa. I hadn't been to Iowa in like 4 years, and it was pretty exceptional.
What part?
Oh man, we're starting with the hard hitting questions. I don't remember.
Probably
I just know it
Des Moines.
was in Iowa. It was. I could look at my tour schedule, but it was quite nice.
My first question is what has more drama, being in a soap opera or keeping a band together?
Oh, keeping a band together, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. How long? How
Soap opera is scripted. Soap opera was scripted. That lasted for about 18 months, and then I quit. It was tough being a struggling artist and making money, but then, basically despising what you did. But it was a better paycheck than bartending till 3 a.m. at night, and but it was a great learning experience. How to try to make art out of rather rudimentary, writing on a daily basis. So it was a fun training ground for me. But that experience really galvanized my decision to kind of really pursue music. For me, it's always been, I've always been interested in the arts, but acting is something I'm still very passionate about. I'm actually doing a TV show right now.
Oh, cool.
And music. So they've always been hand in hand. I've always been fascinated with film. And I'm a big film buff. I think all of my bandmates are.
Yeah.
So they've always gone hand in hand. But that experience on the soap opera is what really, it really flipped the switch that you don't really have very much control when it comes to acting. You're taking direction. There's not a ton of collaboration, and you feel like you're just kind of, you're literally living somebody else's words and their actions. So with music, the beautiful thing about it is you can take something that's stuck in your heart, in your mind, and you can spend some time working it out. And then all of a sudden it becomes this living, breathing thing that you can't touch, but you can feel. And it has, probably one of the biggest impacts out of anything and of any art form in the world. Music is universal. It's a part of every ancient culture. Singing, music, rhythm, all that stuff is in there. So there's something really powerful about music. But yeah, being in a band, especially in the earlier days, it's not easy when you have essentially three singers and three strong-willed, strong-minded, strong-opinion artists in a group together. And then you add commerce into all of that. And it can be complicated at times, but it's the most successful relationship I've had. The band's been together now for 10 years. I've known these guys for over 16 years. I'm assuming I can curse on this.
Oh yeah,
you can fuck you want.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, because I want to start getting into the times when you guys wanted to beat each other's ass.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna gratuitously just start throwing the word "fuck" around, but yeah, there was a lot of motherfucking back in the day.
Yeah,
and I feel like everybody's throwing a punch at one another, in all the different sequences that are possible. Jess punching Cameron, Cameron punching Jess, me punching Cameron, me punching Jess, me punching both Cameron and Jess at the same time.
It's like a Marvel movie.
But through that, yeah, what's powerful about it is the music has always been the most important thing, and that is what really forged a brotherhood, because we really cared about the music. So it forced us to learn how to navigate conflict, which is part of any relationship, as you guys know. And I think we've gotten really good at, there's that old saying, you should never go to bed angry. Well, with us, we won't let anger persist for more than an hour. So if you want to, everybody's going to lose their shit sometimes. Yeah. Now we just kind of, we just get right to it. We're like, hey man, what's going on with it? Unless you want to sit down and talk about it. It ends up being really therapeutic. And it's actually, we're at the healthiest place we as collaborators and as bandmates. I think that we've been, in the 10 years that we've been a group. So it's good times right now.
Any years where you thought it was going to be, because I've been with my band for 15 years and we fight all the time, but it's, there any years where you remember distinctly that this thing might be over?
Oh man.
Every other year.
At the very beginning, 2014, 2015, a good part of 2016, most of 2017. Yeah, of course. Like, I think in the early days, especially, we were running, pretty wild. I feel like, especially I was, before I got married and had kids and,
right.
And I think when you add drugs and alcohol into the situation, I think that always exacerbates, little things into big things. So yeah, of course. I mean, I think there's been those moments, but again, I think, knowing, that what we have is pretty special as you guys know. I mean, most bands and most artists, their chances of survival and succeeding are even less than, your local coffee shop that opens or your local boutique.
Right.
Most of these businesses ended up failing, and most groups and collaborations and musical projects end up, going extinct rather quickly. So if you can make music that you really care about, I always say this, and I think I coined it. I might have borrowed it from somebody.
We'll give it to you.
But I always say that, we make the music. Yeah, I'm just going to take it. We make the music that moves us, that helps people move through their life, the good times and the bad. So I think the music is the thing that is the therapeutic aspect of it that ends up kind of keeping us together. We just have that. There's that kismet. There's that magic with the three of us, and the music that we write, produce, and perform live together. I like it, And if I didn't like it, I want to beat it. And I think that Jess and Cam feel the same way.
Is it harder?
There's that rock solid belief in the music that we're making that keeps it going.
Yeah. Well, you talk about control. As the band gets more successful, is it harder to stay in control? Like, do you want to be on the road 3.5 months a year? That's something you need to do, or 3.5 months or 10 months a year. I'm on tour 250 shows a year, so I don't feel like I have control anymore.
We're right there with you. In the early days, we were doing, including radio performances and going on radio promo tour. I think there was a year that we actually did like 400 performances in a year, something like that. I mean, it was crazy. So, yeah. And I started getting like vocal nodules and stuff like that.
All right.
And, the lifestyle probably didn't help things. And then we went on COVID, and that was the break that we needed. So, no, I think the idea for us is as success that we don't feel that we've achieved yet is having the luxury of not having to tour all the time. But as you guys know, the streaming services sure in hell aren't paying you. The record labels aren't paying you. So the only way that you're making money is through ticket sales and through merch. So you've got to go and you've got to hit the highway. That's the only way you can do it. And, we travel a lot. So yeah, we're still not there. I mean, the dream would be to tour for 3.5 months out of the year. You can just tour like the summer circuit.
Part-time job.
Yeah, just 3 months.
We're nowhere near that. So
has
3 months. I know.
I see that too. We interviewed Van Zant. He's like, the key to a successful band is to play every other day. I'm like, how do you?
You're in Bruce Springsteen's band.
Springsteen, bro. Yeah. Like, we can't just play every fucking other day.
We're not selling out the Giant Stadium.
Yeah. Want a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Just be super famous. That's all you have to do.
I mean, his nickname is Miami Steve. I mean, of course, somebody named Miami Steve is going to say that. By the way, I'm the biggest fan of Van Sant and Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. I I was so blown away by his documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I haven't seen it.
A few months ago. We watched it on the bus a couple of times. It is filled with absolute gems and little nuggets and things that you learn about that whole music scene that was going on in the late 60s and 70s, and how much of a part that, you know, that he was in almost even creating Bruce Springsteen's sound and the E Street soundtrack. He's a fascinating artist, and he's a guy that's also
good actor,
balanced, you know, the different, the disciplines of art, you know, whether it be writing, producing, performing, you know, acting, painting, you name it. I think that for me, I know my bandmates are both the same way. You know, Cameron's become quite the artist and quite the painter, and Jess is actually quite talented at sketching and painting. And you know, Cameron's a writer and a director, and Jess designs clothes. And I think everybody has their other outlets that end up complementing the music and inspiring, because, you know, you've got to tap into a well, and that well's got to be fed by something. It can't just be, you know, music all the time. You've got to go and live life. You've got to do other things that trigger inspiration. Yeah. You know, so I think for me, I think the variety is the key. The variety is the spice of life.
You got to go drink in a pub in San Francisco sometime.
Yeah, sometime.
Put me down for that.
How do you, you know, it seems like you live your life making everyone else happy. What do you do to make yourself happy?
Exercise is crucial. I exercise and actually eat really well. I do all that so I can, number one, I can stay young for my kids, and number two, so I can drink, because I love drinking.
Hell yeah.
So I'm a very healthy drinker, I would say. But yeah, things that make me happy. Golf is huge right now, because you can kind of do golf everywhere.
Yeah.
Surfing is the thing that I've had to sacrifice for family, for the band. You know, I left California in 2014. I had a little 1957, I think it was a Fleetwood. You know, I had the full, like the rigs from Lethal Weapon set up. I had an old Dodge truck, a motorcycle, vintage Mercedes. Whoa. And like a 1950s trailer on the beach, at Sunset Beach. And
you're the coolest guy I've ever met in my life.
All the time. Surf. That's not true. You just interviewed. Yeah, that's insane.
It's fair enough.
No, I just think I've always been interested in more of the experiential side of life, as opposed to like accumulating wealth and things like that. I mean, time is the greatest luxury, and the time to go to explore and do the things that do make you happy. Golf has become one of the great challenges for me. I do feel like it somewhat mirrors life. You know, it is a battle generally against yourself and your own mind, and you know, there's all kinds of obstacles and things that will pop up. You know, whether it be weather, the trains, bunkers, you know, slanted fairways. I love that game, and it really is something that, you know, you can obviously do for a long time, and it takes a real commitment, like music. You know, music at first is like, you know, can you do this? And then you figure out a chord, and you're just doing downstrokes, and then you do finger picking, and then you get different rhythmic schemes, and then you learn how to do jazz chords, and then you learn how to do lead stuff. And, you know, for most of us, that takes years and years and years, like over 10,000 hours. And I feel like the most rewarding things that we do in this life are the things that really take true commitment, like a marriage, like, you know, creating a family, like creating a band, a catalog of music. But yes, golf, surfing is the thing I miss the most, being around the ocean, because I'm in Boulder, Colorado now. I have a house in Tucson, Arizona, which I'm selling, folks. It's a beautiful 1938 hacienda with a pool.
You're in Boulder now?
On a couple acres. I'm in Boulder now. Right now
we're in Denver.
We live in Denver.
I live in Boulder.
We live in Denver.
Are you guys in Denver?
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, I think we're about to. I go golfing too, dude. I just went to Red Rocks. Golf. I'm trying to go a bunch, so we should.
We also drink.
Yeah.
We also drink.
Okay. I think we just, I think we became best friends. My wife is going to love you guys. You drink and play golf? Oh, yeah.
And we don't have kids, so we have plenty of time.
Yo, Mark, I got a question.
But yeah, those are the things I wasn't done yet. I was just telling you the other things I'm into.
Keep going, brother. Keep going.
Skiing is the other thing that I love. I love being up in the mountains. I love the thrill and the rush of adrenaline you get, doing 45, 50 miles an hour down a hill, especially when you go skiing with your friends. So that's something that me and Cameron, my bandmate, have really kind of dove in together. Being former snowboarders, we got back into skiing because we decided that we're adults now. So we ski.
We're French.
What was your question?
Are you adrenaline junkie? Seems like you are.
I used to be. Yeah, I used to ride rode motorcycles and as a kid growing up in the ranch out in Arizona, like little Yamaha 50s and 80s and progressed to like 125s and then got into street bikes like Triumph Bonnevilles and then Harleys. And I used to my FXD was like my main mode of transportation in the early 2010s, 2008, around there. So I used to love that shit. And obviously surfing, you get a rush. Used to, grew up skateboarding, grew up on a ranch. So I grew up riding horses every day and dealing with livestock and branding and
Jesus Christ,
tackling 200 pound, baby calves that if they kick you, they can, snap your wrist like a chopstick. So yeah, we just kind of grew up doing that stuff. And I used to love that shit. And it's funny that once I had kids, my appetite for like the pure adrenaline was immediately somehow replaced with this paternal instinct to like survive,
protect and survive. Yeah,
not as much, but still, yeah. At least until I can make like enough money where I can know that they'd be taken care of. But I'm nowhere near there yet. So yeah, but I still, I guess the biggest thrill for me is like a 300-yard drive now.
That sounds pretty thrilling.
You used to get into cocaine? Were you into cocaine at all? Being an adrenaline junkie?
I think I've done almost every drug a few times, and maybe some of them more than others. And,
Heroin?
Dabbled in everything. And no, not heroin. That's the one that I haven't touched. But yeah, pretty much everything else. I mean, as one does when you're an explorer and you're a searcher. I think that artistic types are really driven towards altered states of mind where you can tap into something else, and change your perception. The doors of perception can lead to inspiration, and that tends to be the fuel. I don't think that's sustainable, and I think that's why so many of our heroes, in the 60s, 70s, shit, the 50s too, all the jazz guys, it tends to lead to incredible art, but it doesn't lead towards a happy life. And to me, the greatest art is being able to balance all this stuff, and to insert measures of self-control, and kind of feel that, again, the variety, dabble in all of it, but way more responsibly. So I'm almost 45 now. So for me, it's about maintaining, but there's a time and a place for everything. As long as it's not lethal. But yeah, I mean, cocaine's so dangerous these days. Fentanyl and all that shit. And it's a scary. I don't really touch that stuff. I haven't for a long time. But I love pot. I love smoking pot. I like ingesting it. I think mushrooms are incredible. I've microdosed mushrooms for periods of time for a long time, and I think we're just starting to realize and take off the negative labels of this stuff that can actually be pretty powerful medicines. And then of course, good couple glasses of beer, nice wine, all that stuff can be can really help you to relax and tap into something that's pretty important. And sometimes you're out with the boys and
You got 20 of them in you.
Yeah.
You tie one on. Yeah, you tie
That's
one
good for
on.
you too sometimes.
Yeah, I think it is too. Those are the times when you detach yourself from all of your stresses and anxieties and your worries.
Yep.
And I think it's really important to exist in those different theaters of reality. You know,
Mhm.
I don't think, again, that you can't just do that. You can't wake up every morning and get shit faced all day. Your life's going to spiral really quickly. But I think that, I think it helps to me if you can, knock on wood. I've never really had, I don't think, troubles with addiction. Thank God. It's been all around my family.
Yeah.
On both sides of my mom and dad. So it's something I was always very cognizant of. And I feel like anytime I've gotten really close to the edge, I've always kind of, taken a few steps back and done reassessments.
Do you believe in that Freudian stuff where
pretty balanced, dude?
Do you believe in that Freudian stuff where you're like I feel that too.
So?
Like my dad had addictive personalities and stuff, and I feel like watching that my whole life, I feel like I could control my addictions just because I've seen the other side of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my grandfather on my mom's side was a devastating binge drinker. He would teetotal for 4 or 5 months at a time, and then go on like a 6-week bender of doing 3 months sometimes. Where my mom was basically a kid and would have to run a 23,000 acre ranch with her sisters and her mom. So I got to see that, that firsthand. And my dad's a Marine veteran and survived World War II in Poland and grew up in Compton. My dad's grown up really tough. And, we grew up in a honky tonk, in a bar with live music, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right on the Mexican border. So there was, people that were really fucked up on coke and booze, everything else. And, my uncle, my dad's older brother, unfortunately, he didn't have that switch where he could switch it off. So he was, he was a pretty sad story because he was a really talented, intelligent, handsome dude, charming as hell, funny as hell. Looked like a movie star. Would wake up in the morning, start smoking Pall Malls, and would finish, an eighth of vodka before 8 in the morning.
Whoa!
And as a kid to see that, he pretty much like lived with us. We took care of him my whole life until he passed away. But I mean, his nickname was Fast Eddie. He was in and out of jail my whole life. So those were always
Fast Eddie.
Fast Eddie.
Hell yeah,
he was a great dude. Edward Wystrach. But those were kind of pretty good, I guess, warning signs and examples of what not to do. So I mean, for me, again, like I've always been had such a lust for life that I've always wanted to make sure I stick around. I like to have good times and go to those places, but knowing that it's just like it's more of a visit. It's not a permanent residence I'm trying to take up in those places.
Totally. How do you approach fatherhood in your head when you've seen how you were raised, and how do you okay with being away for so long for your kid and make it feel like you're not doing the same thing that your dad did to you?
Well, let me say, I think my father is still around, and I think he's an incredible father. I love my dad very much. We have actually a great relationship. He's one of the strongest, toughest dudes I've ever met in my life. And it's funny, the older you get, he raised 6 kids.
Holy shit.
And survived 2 wars. My dad was a fighter pilot in the Marine Corps, and he was deployed. Yeah, he was deployed. I think a couple of weeks after my mom and dad got married. He missed a couple of my sister's births while he was deployed overseas, and he lost a lot of friends. So I think my dad was always a great teacher for me, and I think the best tool he taught me was how to draw perspective.
Yeah.
As he told me when we first started hitting it and really touring heavy and I was struggling with, the pressures maybe, and maybe the idea of like being famous and all that stuff. He said, look, it's like being deployed. But he goes, but at least nobody's shooting at you. So
Yeah,
he told me that, made me laugh. Yeah, like, no, I honestly, like, I don't think that being a dad is easy, period.
No.
I don't think that life is easy. I think that life can be really beautiful at times, but I think that life it's all about surviving the situation. I was just saying this the other day. I said, you can either beat the situation or you can let the situation beat you. And that's kind of the philosophy of taking all this stuff. So the nature of my career, my life, is that I have to be away. And I don't want to be away. So my goal is to go and do my job to the best of my abilities that will help ensure that at a future date, I won't have to be away so much when my kids are older. My kids, luckily, they're still very young. They're almost 3 and almost 5. And I think they understand what Dad does. They were at Red Rocks.
Oh, that's cool.
Last weekend. And, I think kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. I think they have a comprehension that Dad's doing something. I hate to say this, but I do think it's important. I do feel good about my job because I think that music in itself is one of the most powerful things in the world. And then live music can be transformative for people.
Oh, yeah.
We hear these stories all the time. People are going through really tough times. People are coming back from deployments, people that have just lost a loved one, going through a divorce, lost a job, whatever it is. And that they can find these points of inspiration in these shows where I do feel like it's my job to give 110% every night to these people coming to shows. And it makes me feel a lot better being away from home. And I do feel like I'm doing good with Jess and Cam and their band. But yeah, it's for all the kids listening at home, it's like the fantasy of like rock star life, that this is like all the accolades and the attention or whatever it is, that it's like this magical place that you get inserted to and just float on this cloud. That's a huge crock of shit.
Yeah, brother.
It's a great life.
There's the clip.
There's the stage. Yeah. I mean, but those 90 minutes that you get to be on stage and those interactions with the fans beforehand and afterhand, to me, those are always really powerful. I just, each one of those fans gives me, it puts the fuel in my tank to keep going. So
that's awesome.
Like I said, it's not an easy life, but it's a great life.
I agree, man.
That's the trick.
I love it.
Finding the perspective.
You talk about the situation, like you talk about you want to just like be here for a long time. Have you had any near-death experiences? Being a
adventurer,
a new age explorer?
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't go as far to say that because I've got friends that are do this professionally, risk their lives like every day.
Really?
Not for a paycheck, even though it is for the paychecks, but because they have that, like, they don't have that off switch.
Oh yeah,
common sense switch.
Yeah, the rock climbers of the world.
Yeah, but yes, yeah. I don't know if I want to like go into depth in them, but yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of like more than I care to probably count. Riding motorcycles in LA, like, fuck, I had a few. I had T-boned a car doing 40 miles an hour. And the reason I impacted the car at like 40 or whatever is because I slid for 20 yards and 15 yards with both brakes pulled down, and was lucky to walk away from that.
Holy shit!
Blew a back tire of my Harley doing 100 miles an hour, 80 miles west of Phoenix in June.
Whoa!
Back in like 2018, 2017.
Stranded.
And I had my rucksack that was weighting down the back that kept the bike from completely losing control. But then I was stuck in the desert with 126 degree heat index.
Jesus.
For 4.5 hours.
Whoa.
So
how'd you get out of that?
Fire department saw me.
Oh.
There was a brush fire west of me, and the volunteer fire department, the captain of that fire department was riding shotgun and saw my bike stranded I tried to push it, but it was so heavy and so hot.
And so
I tried
hot,
to push it under a bridge. I couldn't get there. The bridge was like almost a mile away. So he saw my bike. He didn't see me because I had found some shrubbery and I'd taken clothes out and I tried to create a shelter, ripped through the gallon of water that I had within, the first hour.
Right.
And he goes, if that guy's still there when we're done putting this fire out, he's going to be in trouble. So he stopped and checked on me. And I was in the throes of a pretty serious heat stroke by the time he showed up. So that was thanks to, I don't remember his name. I should have it written down somewhere, but that guy saved my life. And then I had right before I graduated from college, I had a massive heart attack from surfing in dirty water at Magnolia State Park in Huntington Beach after a huge rainstorm. Where I got a bacterial infection. The long story short is that it infected the lining of my heart and it triggered, which I didn't know at the time that I had this, but it triggered a thing called pericarditis.
All right.
And so essentially you have a sac that protects your heart and it acts symbiotically with your heart. So, they flow like that.
Yeah.
And the lining of the heart, pericarditis, the infection, it triggers the lining of your heart to harden and then they're not working symbiotically. So your heart starts working harder and harder to try to get that movement until it, essentially created a heart attack that would have killed. I think the guy told me if I was like a 55-year-old male, I would be dead.
Holy fuck.
That was pretty scary because they didn't know what it was. And this is the week before I graduated from college. I lost I think 75% of the use of my heart. So my heart was operating at 25%. And they're like, look, it's one of two things. Either you got congenial, heart failure. You have a heart disease that wasn't previously detected, or you have this thing called pericarditis. I mean, there's either way, it's going to take 3 months basically for us to figure this out. But in the meanwhile, if you were to go to the gym and try to bench press 225, it would trigger another heart attack and you'd be dead. So I was sleeping 16, 17 hours a day. I lost 25, 30 pounds. And, everybody was treating me like I was going to die. And that was a really strange experience at, 20, I guess I was turning 23 because I took a leisure semester in college. So, I just remember going through that feeling of going through all the different, emotional states of facing, a possible demise at such a young age.
What were you going? What was your brain telling you?
Experienced all of that. I think deep down, I had a voice that was telling me that this isn't it. This isn't how you go out, honestly. And I think that after the initial shock, I think that was more about me trying to comfort my loved ones, my family, my mom and dad, and my siblings and girlfriend and friends and stuff like that. I think it was probably harder on him in a weird way.
Yeah.
And I just took a full positive mental attitude, and I was like, all right, well, positivity is everything when you're going through that stuff through tough times. So I think that's what was forged out of that was a ability to go into, I call it champions mode.
Yeah.
You're facing your back's against the wall, that you just go in a full positive mental attitude. And it's you're going to do whatever you can to survive, especially mentally, because, that's our biggest obstacle in life is ourselves, is our own, that voice in our head. So I got through that. And then, I got cleared. They're like, okay, it's pericarditis. You don't have congenital heart failure. And then they said the good news is that you're finally cleared to get your ACL fully replaced. So
Oh my God.
I'd blown up my ACL completely off of my knee. The actual ligament was completely ripped off my knee about 6 weeks before that. So
Jesus.
that was a really tough couple of years for me getting through that. So that, I guess at a time when life is probably a little bit easier for people. I think I was going through getting our own internal struggle of just getting healthy again. And I think this would kind of gave me the courage to pursue the life that I'm living now. I was like, well, fuck it. I kind of got close enough to see how thin the veil of life is. And you realize that depending on what the Buddhists probably think something different. I probably have a hybrid of something, or kind of older again, do believe they would get recycled somehow. But I was like, hey, this is my one shot. So I'm not going to live a life that makes somebody else happy. I'm going to live a life that at times can be really difficult and probably a tougher terrain to navigate as far as making it as an artist. But that's what gave me the courage to do this. And that's why it's all about exploration and experiential stuff and less about the money and stuff. You know what I mean?
There we go, baby. There's that date just. I was looking for it. I knew it was on
That's
you.
incredible. God,
Man, you rule.
Yes.
This is a real man. We gotta hang out in Boulder, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got two more questions. I'll let you go back to your vacation. What do you think? There's two voices, that calm voice that says this is not over. And then there's a voice inside you that's anxiety saying everything is doomed. Are those two different people?
Well, I think it's what you said. I think that like the yin and yang philosophy, right? The light and the dark that are perfectly symmetrical. I think that is, if I'm looking for a metaphor or a symbol of what we all are, it's exactly that. And, it's like a ship. A ship needs to be ballast. And I think a human soul or a mind needs to be fully in touch with the light and the dark. Yeah. So I think once you accept that, life is not all peaks, it's peaks and valleys, and it's a lot of work to get back up a big peak. Like, you got to work at it. So I think that's what it is. I think that's what we all are. I think that's where art comes from. I think art is tapping into both of those things, right? To the light and the dark. There's obviously there's the sad songs and things that are tapping into that, and then I think there's the uplifting, beautiful songs that are tapping into those moments of clarity when you're truly in the moment. And kind of like me right now, where I'm looking out this window at this beautiful inn, having a delicious beer, and knowing that I get to go back home and hang out with my kids for a couple more days. And those also can be forms of and and stuff. I think it's the yin and yang. I think it's the light and the dark. I think that's what you're hearing. I think we all have a part of that. I get wary if I meet somebody that's just fully positive all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody that doesn't ever get down. Like, I get down. Yeah. I get the blues. I get low as fuck sometimes. Yeah. And that's where you're left just with yourself. And there's nobody else that can get you through that. Friends and family and a wife and, a comforting, arm around your shoulder and somebody giving you some good advice. Obviously those things help, but ultimately it has to be you, the individual, that processes what you're facing and then make the decision again to either beat the situation or let the situation beat you. And that's this kind of, I like to distill things down to simple terms for my brain. So it can understand things, because I don't think my brain can understand super complex things. I keep it simple.
This is why I fucking hate social media, because all we see is the good stuff. We don't see the bad stuff.
Right.
So it makes it's
a bad filter.
It's a bad filter, and that's why everyone's glamorizing your lifestyle as this beautiful thing, which it is. But like, no one hears like, what's the hardest part about your job, man?
Right. I think on that side, but I also think there's also the flip side to social media is that, YouTube, rabbit holes and things where YouTube will have you believe that, the sky is falling and the entire world sucks. Mm-hmm. And, conspiracy theories and this and that. And sometimes the easiest solution is to step outside and go for a hike. Right. But walk out into the woods and just listen to a babbling brook and the sound of water moving on the rocks and the wind ruffling through the leaves, and watch a fucking hawk fly by for a second, and then you realize, like, wow, there's more to life than that stuff. But yeah, I do think that social media is probably the worst thing to happen to humanity, especially for a kid that grew up pre cell phones, and that even. I think cable TV was just coming out when I was a kid. So, yeah, I do think that's kind of fuck people up. So I think it's important to unplug and get away from all that stuff. But make sure you tune in to this podcast, because I do think it's really
Yeah, social media
Yeah,
sucks.
social media sucks anyway. Andy Frasco, World Saying Podcast.
Every
live
Tuesday.
with Mark from Midland.
Every Tuesday.
Congrats on the podcast, man.
Thanks, man.
It's a great podcast. When we were supposed to do this back in like June or July, so
Yeah.
I've been listening to your guys' podcast,
Oh,
and
cool.
I've become a fan. So
Fuck
it's really
yeah.
cool to be on it, man.
Well, I'm honored, brother. Go kick ass.
You gotta get him in studio next
Yeah,
time.
next time you come in the studio, we'll drink together.
I'm not,
Oh yeah.
All right, bud. Enjoy your night, and I'll.
how long was your interview? About one beer.
Well, hell yeah, man. We'll go have fun out there, and I'll see you in Colorado
Hell
soon,
yeah.
brother.